second one I want to talk about, and it kind of relates back to, obviously Isle of Mull, and it relates back to your place, your Tobermory, the land of the Balamory. So yeah, this is cracking work, man. I just really love I suppose it kind of also leads on about, you were talking about how your illustrations are messy. So this is a soap packaging project for Isle of Mull Soap Company in Tobermory. Yeah, you want to talk me through this one?
So it's a couple called Stuart and Sophie, and they've been, well, I knew Stuart since school. He was a year below me, I think.
Uh-huh.
And I think about a good 10 odd years ago, they set up their Isle of Mull Soap Company. And they've been doing really well. Got a shop down on the main street, and it's a great wee tourist gift to have. But I always thought like the branding was nice and colourful and fun, but it didn't really say Mull to me. But I kept that to myself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I knew him quite well. And I think about a good 3 or 4 years ago, maybe longer, I sort of chinned about doing a rebrand, and just to mention, because I'd be gutted if I missed it. If you decided to change it, or they decided to change it, and I wasn't part of the conversation.
So you laid down a marker and stuck your neck
Oh,
out.
that was a long time ago. But I was up on holiday a few years ago, and he phoned me up and said, "Come to the shop," and he wants to talk about rebranding and all that. And I'm on holiday, but it's like, all right, see you later, kids. And I ran down to town and met up with him, and I kind of had it in my head, thought would be a good idea. I didn't know what it would look like, but I just sort of said, because to blow smoke up their arse, their stuff was beautiful, colourful and bright, but it had just patterns that didn't really say anything, not too much about the fragrance, and definitely nothing about the island. So that was the sort of thinking. I just wanted to kind of use little close-ups of the island. I mean, so that illustration is based on all the creels and the nets and the floats and the buoys you find on the fisherman's pier. And it's a bit odd because I guess it doesn't smell that fresh along there.
Yeah.
But
looks good though.
Visually,
it's nice colour palette though.
Yeah. But that was it.
It definitely
so
doesn't smell of lemongrass and ginger, as it.
Afraid not.
No,
Yeah. I know. Got crab claw and fish head.
Yeah, there's such a, how many, like there's a obviously different, there's a sort of different pattern and different color scheme for each product. So how many products and how many illustrations did you end up doing?
Oh my God. Let's think, because there was so many soaps and so many like wax melts and a few other things. I think altogether about 120 different illustrations.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things.
Illustrations are quite simple enough in nature, but they are quite different.
So I did get into a run of it. So that sort of one, I find that kind of design style or illustration style really natural. That's how I see, to me in a weird way, that's how I see the hills and the sea, just geometric shapes and layers and stuff like that.
So, how a graphic designer views the landscape.
Exactly.
Blocks of colour,
Yeah, pretty much. So sort of did that, had that sort of style going on, and then there was a kind of more rougher mixed media sort of style. And before even I got to this, I did have one that was more painted and used more natural brushes, and but I'm glad they didn't go that way, because that would have been, they took 10 times as long to do as these sort of ones.
Yeah.
And it did turn out like it. So the first few were a bit slow. I maybe did like a pitch of 10 or pitch of maybe even 5, and sort of went more to the style. And then I just sort of got kind of free reign to just go around, take photos, look close-ups. Like the shops are so colourful, sort of use them, and hopefully, tourists will see that and go, it's like a reminder as well, a little postcard.
Amazing,
and they end up making postcards, funny enough.
Yeah.
So, and
amazing.
It was kind of, so for each sort of fragrance, they sort of said a bit about where they thought it might be. Like, for instance, some of them are easier, like Mull Heather. There's a sort of spot on the way between Salon and Tobermory.
Yeah.
That during the right time of year is covered in heather and the hills are all purple, so, and I can remember that as well. And it's not hard to find a photo online, so I did that. But some of them are just going around and taking little close-up shots and try to think, just try to abstract it a bit as well.
Yeah, totally,
And it
man.
made me really look.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, you are well versed in the subject of the Isle of Mull, so you knew places to look. But as you say, there probably like you looked a little bit harder at your kind of hometown when you went back there.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I mean, I wonder if I would have come up with this concept if I didn't live there.
Yeah,
I'd like
sure.
to think I would, but you never know. Maybe I would have done something totally different. So it
No,
just
no.
became like each soap has its own wee story, and even on the back it says there's a wee line saying where it was taken or
Yeah,
where it's
yeah, yeah,
from.
yeah.
Like, see that was this, yeah, camping in
Fitting,
Fijian,
Fiji.
which is like the Ross of Mulls. It's sort of near Iona, sort of down that coast. But then also bringing in sort of the whole camping aspect and that big orange tent, and then yeah, the big orange boy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I guess this
Speaking of Donald
explains the
Trump.
kind of yeah, exactly.
Big orange boy.
Yeah,
But no, I do love that how it takes it away. Like there is actually location specific places behind these illustrations and takes it away from that just like generic pattern that looks quite nice, you
yeah,
know. So there
mhm.
is an actual you're constantly referencing it back to the Isle of Mull the whole time. So yeah, that just gives it such a lovely weight and a lovely story behind for people purchasing as well. You know, you can kind of take that little bit of the Isle of Mull back home with you. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah, no,
yeah, hopefully they recognise it and take a yeah. It's
yeah,
like a postcard, but yeah.
yeah. Actually, and were
And
you
the
on?
shop looks great.
And how were you on the iPad doing the illustrations, or are you in Illustrator the whole time, or how did you do those?
Mostly Illustrator, I would say. I think basically just because of the like, as I say, I was when I was sort of pitching the idea, I had a few different sort of illustration design styles,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
one of them was more Photoshop based. I would scan in different textures and paint, um,
yeah, yeah.
sort of colors and watercolor kind of things. Plus, I got a few quite nice brushes in Photoshop, so I was
Mm.
using them.
Uh-huh.
But it was a big heavy file, and it was going to be so when you're laying it out and putting it
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
actual packages, it was gonna be gigs of stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Not that I was averse to doing it if they, if that was the way to go and they were happy with that. Because I always think, well, they're gonna have to stand in the shop looking at it all day, so they have to
yeah, yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah.
I get to run away or to switch off.